Welcome to Power Cave Training, or welcome back if you've seen us before. Today's video is called Don't Believe Everything You See, or Don't Believe What You See, because a lot of the stuff that's being promoted online, especially social media, is fake. Usually especially narcissists that are cheating, using fake weights. So we'll show you some things from the past, how things have evolved, how things have changed, and how you can be deceived about what you're seeing. Anywhere from the kind of exercises they're doing, or the depth, or all that, the kind of equipment they're using. So my first competition was in 1987, and back then, let me show some stuff. This is a modern day compression shirt. This was a bench press shirt from back then, which not much better than a compression shirt. I get about 20 pounds out of these on a good day. They're very tight in the body, so they held you tight all over. We're not very comfortable to wear for very long. And comparing that to today, which would be a modern day bench shirt, which would be this one. And again, the difference is these are very loose in the body. They're not pretty easy to get on, just hard to get your arms through them. And you can see how small the arms are. These ones were, this is the same for the same weight class. You see how big this one is as opposed to this one. So this one I could get up pretty easy, at least up to my elbows, a little bit of push to get up there. This one stops about halfway up my forearm, and then you have to fight to get it up. The fabric is a little bit of play here, but this is just super tight in here, no give at all. So some people get up to 150 pounds out of a bench shirt, some maybe 200. The other thing was they only had single ply. These are both single ply bench shirts, and now they make double ply and triple ply. And they make canvas shirts, they make denim shirts. But this was all that when I got there, this was the best they had. And I got this one probably about, maybe 20 years into my powerlifting, maybe 15 years of powerlifting. I went to a better shirt, and I get about 60 pounds out of this. Some people get a lot more. I don't wear mine super tight. There's shirts where I've watched 2 or 3 guys try to pop a guy into a shirt. So, that's just very deceiving on what the lift is. So that's a big change. And so the other thing we had was, at one point, this was a squat suit and a deadlift suit. They didn't make deadlift suits when I first started. So you see how easy that is to pull. And this would be worn for both for squats and deadlifts. This is a Titan Centurion. I've had this one for probably 25 years. So you can tell how much easier, less support you got. This, if considering that the deadlift is a little bit different kind of a stress down than a squat that's sitting back. So the same suit really did work a lot. And then Marathon was the first one that came out with deadlift suits or squat suits, and this is a deadlift suit for Marathon. And this was a lot, and even by today's standards, this is pretty flexible. For an example, I wore a Marathon deadlift suit from 220 pounds that was tight, and after I'd worn it 4 or 5 years, they hold up a long time. After I'd worn it 4 or 5 years, I actually lifted the 242s once with that, and the suit just fit me. Passed it on to 3 or 4 other people, and probably still out there somewhere. I don't know who took it last, and I can't find it. So, and that would be compared to a deadlift suit of today. And this is a metal suit. Again, they didn't have Velcro straps. So as you can see here, this is a metal suit. So they didn't have the Velcro straps. This is a single ply. They also make double and triple ply of these also. So I'll pull it apart a little bit for you. So it just shows, this was my favorite suit because it goes on pretty easy when you go down. It really doesn't put a lot of pressure on your body until you get about halfway down that deadlift, then it just squeezes the bejeebies out of you. But you see this one, you can't pull it all. So it's just super tight. So that's some of the difference in the gear. Knee wraps hardly existed in the forms they do now. We had some tight ones, but you really had to work at putting them on, and that's what one thing I practiced a lot was putting on different kinds of that stuff. So that's just the gear. Then if you look at the rules, everybody wants to have the best bencher. Everybody wants to have the best squatter or deadlifters, and they will fabricate just about everything. So, you know, figuring that a squat, your hip has to be lower than it has to break parallel of your knee. And if you watch videos, anything that's filmed up from up high gives you a false illusion. The head judge has the worst view of a squat because of the angles they have. The side judges get the best. So a squat that is not deep, if they're not at hip level filming it, you're not getting, they could be an inch high, you never know it. The best we tested is that inch is somewhere between 40 and 50 pounds. You lose going an inch deeper. And I've had lifters that have failed because the training, they were high, and I kept telling them they were high, but they didn't change. And then when they finally got into the meet, they couldn't go down. When they finally did get down, they couldn't get back up because it's like putting 40 more pounds on the bar. So that is an important thing. And bench presses used to be arm's length. You had to hold it at arm's length. Not here. You had to hold it. Now they get down here and they go like this, and somebody yanks it off of them. Not fair, especially the big guys. The real big guys get away with that doing a lot of weight. The smaller guys, they get seen, they have to do that. So when I judge and somebody tells me they can't lock out, I'll go back in the back room and watch them lift. And if they can lock out 135 or 225 on their warm up, they should be able to lock out their max unless it's too heavy for them. If you can't extend it, it should be red lighted. If you're dipping your arms coming up like this, you see all this kind of stuff, you have to be careful. A lot of the images on social media are AI generated. They're not real. People fabricate certain things. Now, I'm going to show you some of the equipment also that can be changed. I'm going to move the camera around a little bit so you can get a better view here. So we'll start with Indian clubs. These are Indian clubs. If you look at them, let's put them up here. If you look at them side by side, this one looks like the bigger club, but this is a 2-pound club. This is a 10-pound club. So what you're seeing, right, you see somebody swinging one of these, it looks like they're doing something awesome. What they're basically doing is a 2-pound exercise with it. If that's what your goal is, I guess that's okay. And then we get the mace valve, which are these, and these look almost identical. If you look at the ball on the floor, this one's a little bit bigger, that one. This is 11 pounds on the left, on my left. This is 22 pounds on my right. A lot longer shaft, a lot harder to do. So people, if whatever you see people swinging isn't necessarily what you're seeing them swinging. What you think you're seeing is not what you're seeing. So that would be that. Then we get the kettlebells, and I just saw a video of girls, a whole bunch of them, that said they were swinging 53-pound kettlebells, which is 116 pounds, and doing snatches for reps. So I have kettlebells, and mine are here. I'm going to turn the camera down a little bit there so you can see it. So these are kettlebells here, and I've had these for a long, long time. And now they have kettlebells that the tops unscrew on, so you can add a bunch of plates in there, but they won't hold a ton of 10-pound plates. So you got 6 plates in there, it'd be 60 pounds, not 116 pounds. This is a 70-pound kettlebell, and this one looked almost small, at least like kind of what they were doing. This is a 106-pound kettlebell. This is a 106-pound kettlebell. And I like to see somebody swing that for 80 reps at weighing 100 pounds and doing snatches with it. Not very probable. So that's the other thing. And then I'm gonna go over to some weights. So you see people squatting or bench pressing a lot of weight. So what we're gonna do is take this out and then take this one out. So what you're seeing here are two different plates. This one, just as thick, just as big as this one, thicker than this one. This is a 15-pound plate, this is a 45-pound plate. If I load a whole bunch of these on a bar, I can put on three plates on each side that will make it look like it's over 300 pounds, and it might be 185. So that's just another thing that, you know, a person has to be careful of. When you're out, when you're seeing these people post these huge weights, how many of them are cheating? Do the weights all match? Are they using a bunch of plates that I hope some of them match and some of them don't? Some of the ones that don't might be fake. I try not to, when I do my videos, I don't brag about the weight I'm doing, simply because it's irrelevant, somebody can always do more, and it could be a lie. So I just do what I do and show proper technique and things like that. If somebody tells me all the stuff they've done, they've competed, well, I've been competing for 38 years, and I've been in 2 different organizations. I've been around 3 or 4 organizations. I just competed in them all. I've seen the different lifters. I've seen what they do. I've seen what the records are. And when people tell me, oh, back in high school, I did 400-pound bench press at 140 pounds, that's a bunch of crap. And they know it's a bunch of crap. The other thing is I didn't keep all my awards, but I got a lot of my trophies. Some got lost when I moved up from my old house to this one. A bunch of them got broke in the box, and had some at a gym, and they broke those at the gym. So, but I've still got probably 80 or 90 of them. So if somebody can't show me a trophy, show me a program, show me something that shows, go to a website and show me that website and show me where your record is, I don't give it much thought. So the last one I'm going to show you is the bars. So we're going to raise this back up. So, this is a bench press bar, and I'm going to try to get a better view of this. I'll put this up higher so you can see it. So I'll get a good view of that. So this is a bench press bar, and I'm going to show it to you on the floor when I get done here. And when I started, this was the bar you used for everything. This was your deadlift bar, this was your bench press bar, this was your squat bar. Didn't have multiple bars, didn't have bars that bend halfway up to your knees when you start pulling. Nobody used straps. Not one organization that I ever lifted that allowed straps to be used on a deadlift. So no hitching, no ramping. So when you're comparing world records and stuff, you gotta be careful what you're comparing it to. But then we got, this is a competition deadlift bar, way higher. And we'll put them side by side on the floor just so you can see how the difference of them. So as you see going down, one is a lot longer, probably 5 inches or 6 inches longer than the other one. It does bend also. It doesn't bend like the new ones do, because this deadlift bar is going to be probably 15 years old also. So be careful when you're watching stuff, who you're listening to, what you're watching. You know, if they can't show you something, if they can't take you over and say, hey, these are my trophies I got, these are just a few of them I got up there. If they can't show that, or they can't show you on paper where they are. And the last thing is I got a paper that I have from Powerlifting USA, old weightlifting magazine. And at that time in the Masters division, I was ranked in the top 20 in both squat and deadlift. And now you've got high school girls that say they lift more than that. So did gear change? Did the rules change? I don't know. But I imagine we evolve a little bit, but sometimes it gets to be excessive. So again, just take it for a grain of salt, whatever you're seeing. There's a lot of narcissists on there. Look at me, look at what I can do. And it gets frustrating. It gets frustrating for me to have to watch it. And that's why I don't like to post too much, because you know, I can't verify everything either. I do have a lot of competition footage. And I know the first time I squatted 550 pounds, if you look at the weight, it looks like it's only about that much weight on there, but it's 100-pound plates that are only that big. So that was just the big plates, and then I have lower ones on the side. So I have 440 pounds before you got to the smaller ones. So, but I've got that is on paper that I did that. I can show the actual results of that meet, that's what I did. So if you have that proof and you want to look at it, but don't let people con you into what they can do. Don't have them con you on certain exercises. There's a lot of dangerous exercises out there. And just because somebody's strong enough to pull one off, don't mean that you're going to be able to, and you're not going to get hurt. So again, thanks for watching. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button, like it, share it, and then if you want to subscribe, it would be great. And we'll see you next time on Power Cave Training.